We are now joined by our friend from ESPN in any ballpark ever opened anywhere. Mr. Buster Olney joins us right now. Buster, thanks for making time on this this crazy day. We thought we were going to be harassing you way later, but the Yankees rained out. So I've got this theory about it, Buster. I think if Tanaka pitches really well tomorrow, the Yankees might switch to a six-man rotation.
Oh, boy. At this point, they'll just take Tanaka pitching well and then go from there. But they're very confused about what's going on with Tanaka, that's for sure.
Is it time to just fully look at that arm? Is there something going on that we're just unaware of?
They're trying to sort through things. They just know one thing, that his stuff is really flat. And, I know I haven't been down to Yankee Stadium to specifically ask Tanaka about what sort of adjustment they're working on, but I know they're trying to get that part fixed. And it's interesting because when the season started, a lot of the conversation was around the question of whether or not Tanaka was going to opt out of his contract at the end of the year and take advantage of potential free agency. And now the question is, I think whether or not it really even makes sense for him to do that financially because he's struggling so much. Probably if you gave truth serum to Yankee people, based on what they've seen in recent starts, if Tanaka opted out of his contract right now, he'd be doing them a favor.
Buster Olney with us right now, 104.5 The Team. Ellsbury does his best Ken Griffey Jr. impersonation last night, Buster, and now with the concussion protocol?
Yeah, and he's on the 7-day disabled list. And, let's face it, if you look at the history of Jacoby Ellsbury's injuries, typically takes longer than a lot of players in coming back. So, there's going to be opportunity for other guys in the organization.
Buster, what do you make of the new Judges Chambers cheering section? Is it cool or is it a little bit forced and lame?
I like it. I think it is kind of cool. And I like the fact that, it's not a case where, you can folks who are willing to spend a lot of money will buy the seats. I like the idea of the Yankees picking out fans who, wearing Aaron Judge-type uniforms or, jerseys or some sort of stuff, getting a chance to be moved into that seat. I think it's kind of cool. What do you guys think?
I like it because, my number one critique of Major League Baseball has been that I don't feel like they really market their younger stars that much. And I think that this is them embracing the guy in New York.
Yep, 100%. And I think it's fun. It's just, it's something different. It's something new. It's kind of like when the Bleacher Creatures started out with the infield chant. This feels like it's just, one sort of extension of that sort of thinking.
Aaron Judge, definitely good young talent there. Gleyber Torres now gets the call up from AA to AAA. Are we going to see Torres this season?
I don't think there's any doubt. And at this point, he's probably one injury to Starlin Castro or Chase Headley or to Didi Gregorius from being called up. I know there are folks on the team, players, staffers who think that he could play in the big leagues right now, but you understand why the Yankees are going to be deliberate and, wait for an opportunity to pop up. But, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. And I think the latest that you would see him in the big leagues might be sometime in early August if an injury or, lack of performance from Chase Headley doesn't create a situation for him. Then you might see him call him up and work him in a utility role because he looks like the type of player, kind of like what we saw with Xander Bogaerts with the Red Sox in 2013, other young players. He just seems so comfortable that I think that they, at the very latest, they'd look to call him up in early August just to put himself at ease, to be a guy who could help them down the stretch into the postseason.
Why August? Is that going to affect his service time at all in free agency in the future?
Well, once you get into mid-June, then that would affect his arbitration eligibility. I think that probably August, just to make sure that he gets enough at bats in the big leagues down the stretch where he'd be comfortable and at ease if they play in the postseason. Which, let's face it, when you're watching the Yankees now and you expect them to be aggressive before the trade deadline, that's a distinct possibility at this point.
Buster Olney with us right now, Levack and Goz, 104.5 The Team. You said trade deadline. I read your stuff religiously. Sonny Gray, is he my new Yankee?
He's certainly someone I think they'll be talking about because the last year and a half, you kept on hearing from folks with other teams. They're asking the question, hey, did you see Sonny Gray? What do you hear about Sonny Gray? Is Sonny Gray healthy? He had forearm tenderness last year, and he got shut down, limited to 22 starts. had a lat injury in spring training. And I know from talking with folks with other teams, their feeling was, you know what, boy, it's just one more example of how he's having an arm injury. And I think that there were some folks in the industry who were ready to say that the Sonny Gray's best days were behind him. Well, in his recent starts, in particular his last two starts, he looks tremendous. A lot of swings and misses, 31 in all between the start he had against the Red Sox last week and the start that he had against the Marlins yesterday. Xander Bogaerts, a great hitter, got 4 swings and misses from him on Wednesday, 11 strikeouts and just 1 walk when he was facing the Marlins. He struck out Ichiro on 3 pitches, all swings and misses. And this is against a great contact hitter, and that's because his slider looks great. His fastball velocity is around 94 miles per hour, and you have to believe that Oakland is going to look at him like a hot stock, and they probably will do what they can to flip him as soon as possible before he were to have another setback. And, you know, the teams that are in the trade market looking for young, controllable starters are the Yankees, the Astros, and the Cubs, at the very least, maybe the Dodgers as well. And you know Sonny Gray is going to be in a conversation along with guys like Jose Quintana, Garrett Cole, the Pirates, maybe Zach Greinke, the Diamondbacks. He would make a lot of sense for the Cubs, who probably would not be able to trade for Garrett Cole because Garrett Cole is with a division rival. And he would certainly make a lot of sense for the Yankees. And we know this about Sonny Gray from his first run through the postseason. He loves the bright lights and the big stage. He's got a lot of presence. The best story I ever heard about Sonny Gray was from his college coach, Tim Corbin. Sonny went to the same school I did, so I've known him for a long time. Sonny Gray, when he was a senior in high school, was in the high school play. And in the middle of the play, Tim Corbin, the Vanderbilt coach, went to watch, and his phone beeps, and he looks down, and he got a text message from Sonny Gray right in the middle of the play from the stage. Sonny was in the middle of it, and Sonny texted him, "What are you looking at your phone for, meat?"
Buster, as soon as you say the best story, as soon as you say story, basically, I perk up like a dog who just heard a high-pitched noise.
Well, and believe me, I got a ton of stories about Sonny Gray because he's one of those guys. He would love the big stage in New York.
Oh, see, I hope we have a chance to talk all about him moving forward. Buster Olney, right here on 104.5 The Team.
Buster, last time you were on with us, you predicted that there were going to be some fireworks between the Blue Jays and the Atlanta Braves, and you were right about it.
Well, yeah, Jose Bautista being hit by Julio Teheran, and it was something that because of the baseball culture of retaliation, there's an expectation of that. And I got to tell you, after I wrote a couple of columns about it over the weekend about retaliation in baseball and how it's a part of the culture that increasingly doesn't make a lot of sense. I heard from folks with teams, talked to folks at Major League Baseball. I do think that in the years to come, there's going to be a change, kind of like there was with the home plate collision rules, and it wouldn't surprise me if within 2 years we see baseball ramp up the penalties, trying to cut down on the culture of retaliation. Because, look, the sport has veered toward player safety on plays at second base and with catchers, and I think there's more and more folks in the game thinking that the idea of intentionally drilling another player, a batter standing at home plate completely defenseless, makes no sense. And we saw last week Freddie Freeman of the Braves out 10 weeks because of a broken wrist being hit by a pitch.
Man, Buster Olney with us, 104.5 The Team. Buster, what I got Mets fans here in the Capital Region just pulling their hair out. What is going on with the Mets?
Well, in that game that they played against the Padres yesterday, I think you could hold that up as an example of the worst loss of the year, because they're playing the Padres, who literally this year are tanking. They're trying not to win, and yet the Mets blew a lead. I think that because they've used their bullpen so heavily, they didn't have the same kind of options they typically would, and it certainly caught everybody's eye that Terry Collins was asked about Jay Bruce yesterday and whether he has some back stiffness, and he told reporters he wasn't allowed to answer the questions. That tells you that there's a lot of stuff going on right now between the front office and Terry Collins, because it's not typical that managers are not cleared to talk about injury. and it does make you wonder more and more about Terry Collins' future with the team.
Buster, let's get that Memorial Weekend schedule for you. Where are you going to be?
Travel and Road Show.
We are going to be in Pittsburgh. We got the Mets and Matt Harvey against the Pirates, and that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, and then the Mets might throw Smoker on Saturday?
Yeah, they're talking about throwing him. I don't know exactly which day. I know they're talking about dropping him in the rotation on Saturday, and it'll be really interesting to me to see whether or not Harvey can step it up from that start he made the other night when he really did not look good.
He's Buster Olney. He is Money. We look forward to talking to you again next week, sir.
Thanks, guys.